Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Sava here from Football Heritage TV. How are we all doing? It's been a while since I've done a video. Well, 48 hours, but hey, was busy yesterday on an exciting new project, working with a leading industry company in their field, talking about football. So there's some good content coming out and a new project underway. So before we get into that, today I want to talk about Dejan Kulusevski. Now, the reason I want to talk about him is it came up on the Spurs review on Sunday night about Kulusevski. And then it came up yesterday. I was with, there was one representative from each fan base at the event I was at. And it was interesting to hear all of their takes on some of the Spurs players, because sometimes we get a little bit involved and we're in our own bubble and we only believe what we want to believe and everything's great or everything's terrible. And sometimes there's a middle ground. So I want to talk about Kulusevski because I went on the other day and said, I wouldn't buy him if I was Spurs. Now, hear me out. I wouldn't be, oh my God, I can't believe we bought Kulusevski if we did buy him. But I don't believe that is the type of player Spurs need moving forward. I don't believe that that is the type of player you want to bring into a project or a build when creating an ethos, especially if the manager is going to be of the ilk of Arne Slot, Julian Nagelsmann, Ruben Amorim. I don't think this is their type of player. It's only my opinion. And I don't dislike Kulusevski. I just think he is massively, massively overrated. And there are certain players, I think, that get a free pass at Tottenham because of their name. Romero being one. I think Son is another. I think Kulusevski is one. Lots of players get a free pass. For me, I've been massively disappointed all season with Dejan Kulusevski. Now, people will be shouting and screaming right now, going, oh my God, he's young. You want to get rid of young players? I don't want to get rid of young players. He's not ours yet, which is the point. And I just can't help but wondering if, lots of ifs here, if we get the director of football and the manager that play that progressive style of football and that are good at scouting players, I can't help but feel there'll be much better players that are quicker, that are more direct, that work harder, that aren't so up and down in their form as opposed to Kulusevski. Now, when I look at Kulusevski, I think he works hard, he tries to press. I just think he is very, very slow. And the worrying thing for me is, I've seen it all season, but it was highlighted to me again. I say highlighted to me. I highlighted it to myself during the game with Brentford at the weekend. A couple of times, I think Kane or whether it was Son span the ball in behind for him, and he didn't have the legs at all to move away from his defender. And he didn't have the legs to even compete in that foot race. And listen, it's not all about pace. But for me, if it's not about the pace, you need to be doing so much more than what he's doing. And people will be shouting right now, going, oh my God, but Sava, look at the last half of last season. Okay, look at the last half of last season. I look at that 4 or 5 months as a sample size compared to the last year sample size. The sample size of him not doing well is bigger than the sample size of him doing well. So I ask you, is that a player we want to bring into the club? Now, again, as I said, it's not like if he signs, I'll go, oh my God, that's a terrible signing. I just think there can be better scouted players. I think he's talented, of course. I don't think any football fan can deny he's talented. But how effective is he? All of this season, I've been massively underwhelmed. I think a lot of fans have been massively underwhelmed. And we've talked about confidence. We've talked about lack of form, a blip. But these words get thrown around now far too easily in football. Like when you say Son hasn't had a good season, it's a blip. Blips don't last for this long a period of time. Blips are 4 or 5 games, 6 games. Kulu's been doing this all season and just looked very underwhelming. Now, there is the argument that he had the bad injury and he's been playing with an injury since. But then you have to ask the question, why did Conte then continue to play with that injury? Why did Stellini? Why did Mason? So listen, obviously that it's not as straightforward. For me, I just can't help but think that there's better players out there. I can't help but think that I'd like someone a bit quicker. I would like someone that can press quicker, that can go through on the goal quicker. That's just me as a fan. Listen, as I said, I don't mind Kulu. I just want to know what you guys and girls think before we actually outlay any money for him, some serious money for this man. Is that where we want a chunk of our transfer budget to go? He's got 2 goals all season. 2 goals all season. That's shambolic. If you think about it realistically, that's absolutely dreadful. I can't think of many players. Well, let's look at the players that have got 2 goals all season for Spurs. Eric Dyer, Ryan Sessegnon. These are the people with 2 goals all season. Richarlison's got 1 and is considered one of the biggest flops of the year. Many people yesterday, where I was with all the other fans, saying Richarlison was the biggest flop signing of the summer window. Has Kulu been much better? Has he done anything to deserve still getting the praise he gets from Spurs fans? Is he loved more because he's got the song, gimme, gimme, gimme a ginger from Sweden? If that was Jack Clark playing week in, week out like Kulu does and putting in those performances, would we still be saying the same thing, that we want to go and pay in excess of 35 million for him? I'm just asking the questions. For me, I think we can do better. For me, I think if you've got a manager that can, a director of football and a manager that between them can scout better, I think there's so much more that we can get. I'd love to hear your opinions on this. While we're at it, Longley. Would you take Longley? Ryan Mason said the other day that Spurs are working on a formula to get Mason. He's the type of player we are looking at. How worrying is that statement? He's the type of player that we're looking at. So let me know what you think. I think I know the answer for both. We'll see. Let's see if people can tackle this objectively without losing their mind, without going over the top. Because I feel in football now, what's happened is people are either complete shite or they're world class. And now you can't seem to have the conversation when they're in here in the middle. Having this conversation yesterday with an Arsenal fan, and Saka's the best thing since sliced bread. And it's like, no, he's not. He's a very good player, but why does he have to be the best thing? Why can he not be in this bracket, in the good to very good bracket? Hey, I'll leave those thoughts with you. Please please like, please subscribe, please leave your comments. I'll respond to you in the chat and we'll take it from there. Thanks, everyone. Speak soon. Bye-bye.